Hello, hello, hello. I hit my nail. I don't even remember on what. I was getting out the car and did it. That sucker hurt. Okay. You wanna go? No, I'll go. Don't go now. You took too long. Shoot 5 molasses. I'm ready to explore. Hey. Y'all know, for whatever reason, Facebook does not always show who is going or not going, who's joining the video. So I don't know who it is. So if you don't mind, just say hello in the comments so I can see who's watching. So now that baseball season is over, it was a great season. It really was. Triple A, my Triple A season is over. We are waiting for tonight's game to see if our older kids' ozone level will be over or not. Hello to whoever just joined. Tara, hello. Some people's names pop up and the others don't, so I don't always be knowing who on here. But yeah, so now that baseball season is over, I can have a little conversation. You know, if you know people who are baseball savvy, know the rules, know the do's and don'ts, tell them to chime in. Tell them to chime in, because, you know, everybody seems to have something to say about you coaching, but then they don't sign up to coach. Coaching is voluntary. Voluntary. Y'all hear me? Volunteer coaches don't get paid. We don't get paid to coach Parks and Rec. We do it because we want to. We do it because we love working with kids. Some people like to work with kids. I love working with kids. Kids are such a joy to be around sometimes. But especially in sports, it's a fun thing. You're teaching them new things. Some kids that I had on my team, they came to me, never ever played a sport. Not one sport. And so when I have kids like that, I want to make sure that they learn all that they can learn so that they want to come back. Now my age group is 9 to 10 year olds. So for those who know sports or know what it takes to be a good athlete, starting your kids off in a sport at 9 and 10, it can be kind of difficult for the child. Hey, Kara, I don't never say your name right. Samson be correcting me all the time. But hey, girl. So I feel like, you know, if you bring your child to play sports and it's their first time, I feel like if you want them to continue in that sport, they actually got to learn something, right? And in the midst of learning, they're going to have to be able to retain what they have learned. Hey, Aletha, if they can't retain what they have learned, then you're not doing a good job. You also cannot be a soft coach. Now, let me explain. When I say you can't be no soft coach, I'm not saying that you need to be out here cussing at people's kids, because that's not what they need. But they also don't need you holding their hand, babying them. I don't baby people's kids. When you come to play sports, if you're on my team, I'm rough. But I'm respectful. And I'm stern. I'm very stern. And I'm not killing your children's feelings. Okay? I have a lot of kids that I have coached since 2019, 2020. I started right before COVID hit. And so I have a lot of kids that ask me throughout the years, are you going to coach basketball again? I want to be on your team. Are you coaching baseball? I want to be on your team. Hey, Lisa. And so I know I am making an impact on the kids in Martin Henry County in spite of the adults. I have had some adults that are just rough to work with. Thing about it is, I'm a tough cookie. I don't coach to make the adults happy. I coach to make your child a better player. I coach to ensure that your child has fun doing this. And I also coach to ensure that when your kid goes to middle school, they have a chance of making the middle school teams. And not only making the middle school teams, but they actually have a chance of playing. Now, when your kids play Parks and Rec, we are required for the kids to play a certain amount of time per game. So like for basketball, I think the requirement is 2 quarters, as much as you can. And then for baseball, it's at least 2 innings. And I believe that we do 6 innings. So a lot of coaches in baseball, they do the 2 innings, and then your kid is sitting the rest of the game if they're not good. On my team, I don't do that. Hey, Sheila. On my team, every kid plays every inning in baseball, because number one, the way the innings can work, depending on what kid is pitching to your team, it may be a kid that's got a really good pitch, and he may, and I'm saying he because I coach boys, but he may be pitching and he's got 3 up and 3 down, which means the first 3 people that you send out there to hit, they struck out, and now we're moving on to the next inning. And so when you don't play all the kids every inning, some of those kids don't even get a chance to hit, because once you go through 2 innings, once you go through 2 innings, you can bat for batting purposes. You can bat just your top 9 players, and when you do that, if your kid is not a hitter, they don't get a chance the rest of the game to hit. They may go out in the field, but they don't get to hit. And I want all the kids to get that chance to hit. And so I play all the kids every inning, the entire game. I also expect to be respected at all times from the children and the adults. Hey, Crystal. Hey, Ashley. So, this season, majority of the kids on my team were very respectful children. All of them, really. There was just one. Actually, no, I had 2 that I had to tell them, like, you're gonna respect me as an adult and as your coach. I had one that he liked to talk back, and then I had one that just didn't want to listen. If I said move forward, he didn't want to do that. If I said move backward, he didn't want to do that either. And so I spoke to both parents. One parent or one set of parents was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm going to talk to him about that because he has that trouble in school too, blah, 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 blah. They talked to him. It got better. I still had to get on him up until, like, I'd say maybe 4 or 5 games. I was still getting on him. But then after that, he understood it, and I didn't have any more problems from that particular child. And then there's the other child. I talked to his parents, and the mom, she was like, Well, he didn't need to back up that far. He knows how to play. He knows what he's doing. He knew that kid wasn't going to hit it that far. He knew what he was doing. He didn't need to move back that far. And I asked her, I said, hey, Malik, I said, okay, if you, as a leader in the school system, teacher, principal, assistant principal, counselor, whatever your role is in the school system, if you tell a kid what to do, you expect them to listen and do what you say, right? She just looked at me, and I said, it's the same thing on the field. I'm the coach, and I expect them to listen. If I ask you to move back, you need to move back. If I say move forward, you need to move forward. That's the whole sport of baseball. Sometimes you got to move back, sometimes you move forward. You got some kids that can hit really good, and you got some kids that they hit, but it ain't going but so far. So you don't need to move back but so far. But when you're standing in the baseline, not the baseline, the runner's line, you can't stand there between the two bases. You got to stand behind them or in front of them. But when you're in front of them, you're just way too close. If the kid really does sock that ball at you, you're too close. And so I knew then, when Mom was like, he knows what he's doing, he didn't need to back up, I knew then they were going to be a problem the rest of the season. I really knew they was going to be a problem at our scrimmage when they had given me some problems then. They're on the sideline telling me I didn't know what I was doing. Their kid stepped off the base to go pick a ball up, and I was like, hey, no, don't do that, get back on the base. And the dad screams, and he's like, it's a dead ball. And I'm like, I don't care if it's a dead ball or not, we are on offense, you don't touch the ball, stay on the base. And he was like, well, you need to teach him correctly. I am teaching him correctly. We're on offense, you don't touch the ball. So then they were fussing, saying that he could have been to third base already, he could have been home already. Tell me this, the pitcher is pitching, the catcher is catching the ball. The catcher has the ball in his hand at home plate, and you want me to run the child? Where they do that at? As a coach, I know who can run fast enough. I know who's gonna slide. I know who's able to stop and run back if they see they can't make it home and actually make it back. And we only had one true good runner on the team, and that was not the kid that whose family was giving me such a hard time. And so, I just ignored the comments, which I've had to do the whole season. The entire season, I've had to just ignore the comments, the looks, everything. And let's see, COVID was what, 2020? So we're in 2026 now. So 6 years, 7 years I've been coaching. This is the first time I've had such a horrible experience with parents. And it was just that one family the entire time. Anybody else, if I said, hey, your son did such and such, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm gonna talk to him, we're gonna fix it. Or if I was to say, hey, he's missing the ball when he hits because he did such. Oh, thank you so much, we're gonna work on it. I take videos of the kids from time to time hitting and stuff, and so I send the video to the parents and let them know, this is just so that your kid can see what they look like when they're hitting, so they can see why they're missing the ball. And parents were like, thank you so much, we're gonna work on that tomorrow. And I send a lot of videos. If I see something, in any sport I'm coaching, if I see something that I think would help the child, I send those videos to my group chat, and I tell the parents, please make sure your child sees this. I think this will help them. And this year, I've had parents in the past, you know, obviously thank me for coaching, and hey, Mancino, where you been? Mancino, tell me this. If the kid is pitching, the catcher is catching the ball at home base, I got a runner on third. You want me to send my runner home and the catcher got the ball in his hand at home plate? Tell me, Mancino, do you want me to send him home? But anyways, I've had parents, you know, thank me in the past about coaching and how they enjoyed it and the kids enjoyed it and everything. But this year for baseball, it was two grandparents from two different families from my team that thanked me, and they said, this is what the kids really need. Thank you so much for what you do. I really appreciate what you're doing. And I said, thank you. And I don't know, I posted a few weeks ago about a guy who's gonna do our porch, and I had posted about him and how hey, Miss Johnson, and how he had let me know that I had coached his kid right before COVID time had hit, and how me coming into his child's life at that moment, in that moment, really changed his child for a good, like it was a good thing how his child changed. And he said he will never forget that, and that he really appreciated all I did for his child in that 1 year. He said, you know, basketball wasn't his child's thing, but his child had a wonderful time playing basketball that year. And the kid was so happy being on my team. And granted, not everybody is a basketball player. Hey, Goldie. Not everybody's a baseball player. Not everybody's a soccer player or a football player. But when they play the sport, they love it when I'm coaching. Now, obviously there's other people out there that's coaching that kids love what they're, you know, love the sport, but I'm just speaking on me, myself. I've had kids, this ain't the sport for them, but while I was their coach, they loved it, they enjoyed it, they had a blast. I had one kid that he had never played any sport before, and during a game, one of the parents, or it was a grandparent, had said out loud, if you know you can't run, don't go. And you know, I was like, oh, let's not do that. And you know, I understood what she was saying, but it was how she had said it, and it was the fact that they're kids, that it shouldn't have never been said. It was also the fact, hey Sharon, that the kid's mom was actually at the game, and the kid's mom was looking at the grandparent who said this about her child. As adults, we have to be careful what we say about children. You can absolutely kill a child's confidence just by small comments like that. If you know you can't run, don't run. Well, it's baseball, so they have to run to get to the next base. And so the conversation did come up in our group chat about it, and you know, it was talked about, and it was resolved, and it was actually resolved in a very good manner. But the result of what I was afraid of when I heard the statement was that the little boy had asked his mom if he had to go back and play anymore since he was such a bad player. When I say my heart was broken, And I told that parent, I said, you tell him he absolutely has to come back, because coach is going to be looking for him, because he is an excellent player. He, that little boy listened to everything I told him, everything. I had some parents that were helping me out during practice too, and everything those parents were telling him, hey, Julius, everything those parents were telling him, trying to help fix his throwing or how he stood, even with his hitting, anything we told that kid, he accepted it. Hey, Seda. Hey, Tanya. He accepted what we were telling him, and he worked so hard to ensure that he did everything he was told. He never talked back to me. He never gave it a second thought when I would tell him to do stuff. And when I tell you, that kid has heart. He has heart. And down to the last couple of games, his little sister had some games on the same nights as some of our games. And so his mom was going to pull him from the game early so they can get to his sister's game. And it was time for us to go back on the field. And she was like, well, come on, we got to go. And he was like, no, I can't just leave my team like this. I have to play. And I was like, that's a kid you want on your team. Even my older kids. Hey, Mother Mary. Ashley, hello. Even my older kids were like, that's a good teammate right there. We need him on our team, you know. And his mom was just like, okay, you can stay and your grandma will stay with you. And that night, he got walked, and so he got on first base. And my first base coach sent him. He ran to second base. Now, as I stated, I don't have any runners on my team. Everybody runs slow. And I had one true fast runner. But it didn't matter to me that they ran slow. What mattered to me is that they tried and that they put forth the effort to get base to base. So he made it to second, and then he made it to third. And I told him, I said, when you go home, you're going to have to run really, really hard, really, really fast. You got to get there. And when I told him to go, he took off running as fast as he could. And he just barely missed getting on that home plate. They tagged him. But when he turned around, you know, to walk back to our dugout, he had a smile on his face. The smile of a child who knew he worked hard. He saw how much he had changed from the first day he started playing. And he knew Coach believes in me. I almost made it. I can do this. And so last night we had our last game, and the same kid, he got walked. He went to first base, and then he made it to second base, and then he made it to third base. And I told him again, all right, you're gonna have to run fast if you want to make it. Hey, Stephanie, if you want to make it to if you want to make it home, you're gonna have to run really fast. And he was like, okay. And the pitcher pitched the ball, and they threw the ball. Well, when he pitched it, it went past, hey Shamika, it went past the catcher. And so I told him to go. And he takes off running, his little legs. He's got some little short legs. And you can see those little legs just going. And I was like, go faster, faster, faster. Y'all, he made it home. And when I tell you, he was the happiest little boy out there for that night. I was so proud of him. He made it home. And his grandmother was there to see it, and she was just as excited as he was. And you know, that's what I coach for. I coach, hey Josh, I coach to see the kids light up. I coach to see the change in them from day one to the end of the season. And actually with this team of kids, I saw change every single game. The parents saw change every single game. It was never like it never looked like we just wasn't practicing. You could tell they had been practicing. You could tell we worked hard in practice, and that they were receiving what was being given to them. I had one little boy. He hit a home run yesterday. He's hit a few times throughout the season, but this particular hit, it was great. I mean, he knocked it out to the grass, and he made it all the way home. Everybody was so excited for him. The team was jumping and screaming, and so that was good. I had a couple of kids that made it home, and they slid, and they hadn't slid like the whole season. Hey Brittany, hey Derek. They hadn't slid the whole season, and last night they slid, and the looks on their faces, it was just amazing. That is why I coach. I coach because I mean, I love kids. In spite of some of the parents that I have to deal with, that won't stop me from coaching. And I've had parents say, oh, my kid will never be on her team again. That's your choice. That doesn't bother me, because I know who I am as a person. I know who I am as a coach. And I know that what I teach the kids, it sticks. And it helps, and it matters. And when I'm outside of practice, I'm outside of a game, and I see these kids, the way they fight, their faces light up when they see me. That warms my heart. And that also lets me know I definitely did good for those kids. When the kid remembers you, and when a kid lights up when they see you. When I go eat with my kids for lunch, all the other kids that have been on my team, hey coach, hey, you know. So in spite of the parents that give me a hard time, I'm gonna keep coaching. I'm gonna keep showing up for these kids, and I'm gonna keep doing what I do, because I know what I'm doing. I've had a few parents in basketball that tried to get into it with me. That's another thing I don't get into it with the parents. I don't have to argue with you. You don't like it, you can leave. If you don't like the fact that your kid is on my team, you can take your kid to somewhere else. I don't really care. I'm there for the kids that want to be there. I'm there for the kids that want to listen and want to be respectful. I had a parent tell me in basketball, this is too much running. My kid has neuropathy. Well, why you put your kid in a sport where they have to run? It's basketball. They're going to run. We run every practice. We start our practices off with 5 laps. If you can't run in practice, how you going to run a whole game? Hey, Tina. And she was cussing at me, and I said, first off, you're not going to talk to me like that. She said, I'll talk to you however the F I want to. I walked off, and she said, I'm going to take my effing kid out of here. I said, goodbye. And I kept on coaching. And does it bother me? Of course, I'm human. To have someone speak to me in that manner, to have people sitting on the sideline talking about me, saying I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know how to coach, I'm not doing this right, I'm not doing that right. First off, baby, I know exactly what I'm doing. Hey, Lavita. Second off, when you signed your kid up to play the sport, there's a spot on that paper that you can check to be a coach. You want to be a coach, you need to put it on the paper that you want to be a coach. Now, obviously, every parent is not going to be able to coach, because we don't have enough kids to sign up to have that many teams. But, hey, Tori, y'all shouldn't be sitting up on the sideline talking about y'all's kids' coaches like that. It's ridiculous. If you ain't going to sign up to coach, don't try to be one on the sideline. It's not enough appreciation shown to volunteer coaches. It's just really not. And I know there are some coaches that the respect is giving to the utmost, and there are some coaches that it's not shown to. Last year, the team that my kids were on for baseball, the parents were so terrible. That lady almost quit in the middle of the season. The parents were that bad towards her. I Not me. I won't have it. I won't allow someone to treat me that terrible. I mean, any parent that does you wrong, it'll make you think about quitting. But again, I don't do it for the parents. I do it for the kids. I do it to ensure that not only my kids grow, but all the kids on my team grow. This year, this is the 3rd year, I think, that we've had a AAA baseball city team. And so next year, as long as everyone that's moving up signs back up, we will have a full city team for the ozone level for the first time that I know of. And I will be coaching that one. And for, you know, the ones that don't want your kid on my team, you don't have to worry about it because your child not moving up no way. So, yeah. You know, as a parent, I feel like, no, I don't feel like, I know, you should be able to know and understand that your child has weaknesses. Every child has a weakness. Our kids have a weakness. When they go to catch the ball, they're closing the glove before the ball hits. That's a weakness. If your kid is having trouble catching the ball, watch the glove and see what they're doing with the glove before the ball actually hits. A lot of kids on my team, the glove is here and the ball is coming, and right here is the ball. They do this and the ball hits here. Those are small things that can be fixed if you're looking at what they're doing, instead of sitting and thinking that your kid is the best kid on the team when they're not. That is not a great way to raise your child either. You raise your kids to be humble. You have to be humble playing in a sport. You got to be humble living life anyways, but you definitely need to be humble playing in a sport. My goal is to ensure that all kids that come through me in a sport are ready to play middle school ball. I tell our kids all the time, when you get to middle school is not the same as Parks and Rec. They don't have to let you play. They don't have to let you on the team. However, when you go to try out, you're better than some of the other kids, you may be chosen. Where with Parks and Rec, everybody who signs up gets on a team. It's not like that in middle school or high school. It's definitely not like that for college and for the professional levels. So, excuse me, we let our kids know that Parks and Rec is your time to work hard, to learn all the skills that you can, to soak it up like a sponge, so that when you get to middle school, you're ready for middle school. It's going to be hard. It gets harder. The older you get, it gets harder. And so we make sure our kids work hard. The ump that we had last night, he said that catcher, he's a good catcher. And I said, oh, that's one of mine. That's one of 6. That's mine. And I said, his dad and I, we don't play. If you're gonna play a sport, you're gonna do what you're supposed to do. If you're gonna be a catcher, you're not gonna be a lazy catcher. You better catch that ball and not let it go by you. And the ump said that he feels safe behind my child. And he said some of these catchers, they get out here and they're catching and they can't do anything. And it's very dangerous to be behind some of these catchers. But he said, your catcher, I'll be behind him any game. That is another reason I coach. So that the kids can get compliments like that. You won't get those compliments if you don't work hard. If you don't have a coach that's going to push you. I see, even in coach pitch, we didn't let our kids just sit in the background as a catcher. As a catcher, you better get your butt up and catch that ball. As a catcher, in coach pitch, our children were catching foul balls. We're not sitting there letting the ump get the balls that went past you. And matter of fact, you better not let too many of them pass by you. If you're going to be a catcher, you're going to catch the balls. The catcher catches the balls. And he said, I can tell he's been working. I said, yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that. And this is God honest truth. I watched coach pitch, And I see a lot of those catchers, they're just sitting there. They're not moving. They barely move the glove. Hey, Carolyn. Hey, Jackie. They barely move the glove to even catch the ball in coach pitch. Not our kids. We're not letting that happen. And the reason we don't let that happen, it's like I said, the older you get, the harder the sports get. When you go from coach pitch to kid pitch, it becomes a little more dangerous because the kids are pitching. A lot of the kids are not pitchers, and it could be their first time pitching. Not all of those kids have accurate pitches. So when you say you want to be a catcher in kid pitch, but you didn't do what you were supposed to do in coach pitch as a catcher, when you come up to kid pitch, it's hard. You get hurt. And then because the kid has now gotten hurt, they don't want to catch anymore because those balls are coming in fast. Coach pitch, they're just tossing them in as easy as they can so that you can hit the ball. But even in coach pitch, I would tell the coaches that coached our kids, throw that ball in there. They're used to me throwing it to them. Throw it in there. Give them something, you know. And that right there helped our kids too. And then we don't just sit at the house and not take them out and practice. We take them out and we practice. After our baseball practices, the kids were still practicing. Not my choice, because I was ready to go home, but they weren't. So they continued to practice. They pitch to each other. They hit. They catch. They do all of that stuff. The kids have to want it. They have to want it, and you got to work with them. So yeah, that's my rant. It's not even a rant. That's my informational session for the day. Like, everybody in this world needs to do better. If you're gonna be a parent while your child is playing a sport, be the parent. If you want to be the coach, sign up and be a coach. I had an aunt, I think it was, come up to me and tell me, you need to teach those kids how to pass the ball. I said, excuse me, which kid are we talking about on my team? Oh, I don't have one on your team. What? What? Okay. And I said, okay, well, okay, first, if the kid is not moving and the defense is on them.
Are you about to come out? Okay.
And the defense is on them, you think we're going to pass the ball to them? It doesn't happen that way. You have to move. You have to move in order to get the ball. And then I asked her, I said, did you come to the first 2 games that we've had already? And she said, no. I said, oh, well, you missed all the ball passing that they did. Because they passed the ball a lot the first 2 games. And I said, even in practice, we work on passing the ball. I'm not on the court with them. And for those who know me, I scream the entire game. Pass the ball, move over there, cut, do this the entire game. So you can't tell me you didn't hear me. I mean, you can, but you need to be able to tell me and be telling the truth that you literally did not hear me tell them to pass the ball. That you literally did not hear me tell them to cut, move, and get open so they can get the ball. Okay. And then after that, I don't remember seeing her anymore. One of our games, every kid on my team had scored at this point, and we were way ahead. Way ahead. We were so far ahead that we had plenty of time to pretty much just practice. And so the one kid that didn't have points, all we did the rest of the game is got him the ball for him to shoot it. He never made it, which he scored in some other games, but this particular game, it just never would go in. He did not score. But that didn't matter to me. What mattered to me is that he was shooting the ball. When you get used to shooting the ball in a stressful situation, basketball is stressful. When you got 2 or 3 people coming at you, it becomes stressful, okay? For me, I want you to shoot the ball. Once you get used to shooting the ball, then actually making it will come easier. Because now, oh yeah, I get that ball, I'm gonna shoot that ball. I had a few kids on my basketball team that just would not shoot the ball. They would keep passing it. As soon as it hit their hand, they would pass the ball. And I would tell them, even during practice, I would say, give the ball back. Catch the ball and shoot it. You are going to shoot the ball. You cannot do that during the game. In the game, if you got the ball and you are wide open, you had better shoot that ball. By the end of the season, the kids, they were shooting that ball confidence. That it did not matter to them. I mean, I guess it mattered if they made it or not, but they had the confidence to shoot. And that's what they did. They shot the ball. Okay? The parents from my basketball team, I had a lot of them. They were just filled with joy. Hey, Lakeisha, having me as their kids coach. Can't wait till next year. Are you going to do it next year? He really wants to play again. I had a kid. He had never played sports either. I guess he has some little social anxiety, I guess is what you would call it. When he get out in public, he just get nervous or whatever, I guess. And so, you know, his mom had told me that she had told him, if you get in practice and you don't like it, you have to be the one to let the coach know, hey, this is not for me, I don't want to do it. That didn't happen. That little boy played the entire season. And when the season was over, thank you, coach. I'm gonna play again. I want to do this again. That is why I coach. And honestly, this past basketball season was the first year since I've been coaching that we ended the season in second place and we ended the tournament in second place. And I'm a great coach and I know what I'm doing. But it doesn't matter how great of a coach you are if the kids don't listen. And if the parents don't back you up in telling their kids you need to listen and do what the coach is saying. This season, I had those parents. I had those parents that said, hey, you need to do what coach is telling you to do. Hey, pay attention, coach is talking to you. Hey, we're going to go home and we're going to work on this. And that's why we came in second place in the season, second place in the tournament. Because I do know what I'm doing. And I had kids that listened. And they did what I said. They did what I asked of them. They didn't complain. They didn't talk back. If I screamed at them and I said, hey, don't you do that again, they didn't do it again. If I screamed and I said, you better shoot that ball, next time they got that ball, they shot it. And eventually they start making it. And that's what it's about. That's why I coach. My husband coaches soccer and flag football. And it's the same thing. To see the development in those kids. That's why we do it. We also do it so that our kids have a team to be on. Because soccer and flag football, and sometimes baseball, you don't have enough volunteers. And so we ended up volunteering so our kids were on a team. And so we just once we volunteered, once we just, stuck with it. But that's why we do it. We do it for the kids, not for the parents. It'd be nice if every parent was nice and kind and understanding, but you're not going to have that. Not all parents are mature the way they should be. But for the parents that I have dealt with in the past 6 years that, respected me at all times, brought your kids back, I appreciate you guys. I really do. Hey, Tanya. And even the parents that acted a fool, I appreciate you guys too, because it allowed other people to see the type of coach I am. I'm the type of coach, we're not going to have this show out in front of an entire gym at a kid's event. I don't do that. And so your showing out just allowed other parents to see, oh no, she's really a good person. So, anyways, if you don't like the coach that your kid keeps getting on their team, sign up and coach yourself. Stop being disrespectful. It ain't getting you nowhere. And it doesn't help your child either to see you be disrespectful. You imagine what your kids is doing in school when you're allowing them to disrespect an adult right in front of the adult. Y'all gotta think. Anyways, I got to go. Y'all stay blessed. Holla at you next time.